Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at our favorite video, now play-in style, our player props video we've got for you today on this second night of the play-in games here. We've got the 9-10 version of these play-in games that we're looking at. So make sure you do check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com. Got all the stuff you need. Man's working really hard right now with baseball, basketball, all the likes on there on playpicks.com. And also make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Got a couple other videos up for you, as we mentioned, those game videos. And also head to thelines.com. We've got that player props tool for you. Make sure you're getting the best props available out there from odds makers. Also giving you guys the chance to win an Amazon gift card at play.thelines.com. If you get that NBA Daily Pick'em Challenge correct, we will send you that $25 Amazon gift card. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, if you check out our game video on Hawks Hornets, we don't really like, or I don't like a total that's approaching 240. Yeah. But I do like that means, a little bit of more of a choppy game, more rebounds, more paint points for a guy, Clint Capella, who I feel like the Hawks have really been keeping on ice most of the season because of his injury history. Despite that, in his last 6, he's averaging 14 points, 12 rebounds, just playing 26 minutes per game down the stretch there. You look at the playoffs last year, he played 31 minutes per game. His averages weren't outstanding. I mean, just 10 points, 11 rebounds. Did have plenty of spike games, but his importance on both ends of the floor is there, and he should be able to get his against Charlotte because they've been so vulnerable against centers all season, especially giving up the second most rebounds per game to that position, along with the third most points. They give up the second most rebounds per game overall because they play at a blinding pace. And sometimes those threes are not falling, and that creates a ton of rebounding opportunities. I mean, if Capella gets 36 minutes, look at his career 36 numbers, 16 and a half points, 14 and a half rebounds. His prop is at 26 and a half points rebounds. So, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable about that going over. It's only minus 110. For 36 last year, when he was maybe at his healthiest or at his best with the Hawks, 18 points, 17 rebounds per then. So he could smash this. He went for 20 and 15 in consecutive meetings with the Hornets back last year. And this, his most recent meeting, 17 points, 15 boards, again, playing limited minutes in that span. So we like the Hawks to win. We're just not quite sure about -5 here. So if you just want that money line, to go ahead and hit Clint Capella double-double in the win, plus 125. Feel really good about that. I mean, as long as Trae Young's getting closed out on so hard because the Hornets have really sold out to try to stop him, he will throw a lot of lobs to Capella. So hopefully that gets him to his 10 points because we know pretty much he's getting 10 boards. His prop is at 13 and a half boards in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and to support your theory there, a reason for him to have increased minutes from those 31, 32 he had a game last playoffs. John Collins isn't playing tonight. So, there's definitely, his stats do go up a bit when John Collins is not playing this season, especially in his last 10 or so. He's averaging about 30 points and rebounds combined in those games. So getting over to 26 tonight for those feels right for sure, especially as he and Trae are going to be, I think, playoff Trae unlocked also means playoff Clint unlocked, which means a ton of pick and rolls, as we know, with Clint then rolling to the bucket. So some good opportunity for him there. Moving on to the West game for a minute, talking about DeJounte Murray, a guy we've targeted all season, going to go back to the well in a game that I think he and the boys want to win for the Gipper, if you will, as we all expect Pop to hang him up after he's lost this season, whenever that is. But his points, rebounds, and assists, I really like that at 41 and a half. It's really good odds, minus 104 on FanDuel. You can consider his points at 23 and a half. It's about minus 105 as well. So it's pretty much the same odds, but I like the ability to throw in the rebounds and assists with DeJounte. You can also talk about him to, get score 30 if you like, if you want those points over there at FanDuel. It's a nice plus 285. It's a nice way to find some juice there for DeJounte, who, the points is the thing about the points too, is there's, as we mentioned in the game video, 6 guys on this team that are averaging double figures, which also is in large part because DeJounte's diming up so much. But you look at his last 12 on the road, 24 a game, 10 assists and 7 boards there. The offensive rating is at about 123 and a half with a 27% usage rate. So super efficient with a ton of usage. He's just been incredible, right? Like you saw all his box scores since the All-Star break, and since he really needed to help drag this team into the playoffs. He did miss a few games and they lost their last 3, but he's back now and playing against NOLA. The last time he played there in February on the 12th, he went for 31, 7 boards, 12 assists there, about that 32% usage rate going up. So that that was the last game that it seemed like it was a close game. Then you had the one more recently, March 26th. He did go for a triple double in that one, 15, 11, and 13 there, which just under the 41 PRA. But I don't think they'll be able to hold him quite to that level tonight in terms of the 15 points there. I think he gets much closer to 20, and if he does, I would put him on triple double at watch as well, to be honest. At least a double for sure with those assists, in my opinion, at least 10 of those. And that's in large part because New Orleans is allowing the most assists per game to point guards in the last 7, and just over their last 3, allowing 34 assists per game to the opposing team. So I think there's plenty of opportunity for DJM to get in there and do his thing, points and assists, and always with the rebounds, at least 7 to 8 for sure.
Yeah, interesting to see New Orleans allowing limited points to point guards, but the most assists. To me, that shows me that Devontae Graham, who's not healthy when he's out there, is not doing a great job of stopping the offense or fighting through pick and roll. And then Jose Alvarado, when they go to him, is an aggressive defender who will pick up full court. And then if good point guards get past him, then they have their pick of the litter, and DeJounte diming people up every which way. So I like the whole combination there. Yeah, of the points, rebounds, assists. I think if you're gonna take points, you might as well take an alternate points line to get plus money, because when DeJounte gets going, he usually is gonna drop a ton of points here. And as much as the Spurs have good role players around him, they really are depending on him to score in this matchup. Same deal really for the other guy, CJM. If you're taking DJM, I'll take McCollum to get over 31.5 points and assists. Pretty good odds at minus 106 at FanDuel. Much better than him to get over 25.5 points, but he's been pretty good in 13 home games with New Orleans, getting 6 assists along with 24.5 points per game on a 30% usage rate. Playing just 32 minutes per game in those games, including 3 light loads down the stretch, as New Orleans knew they were pretty much locked into this spot. So when he's gotten a full workload, which he has against the Spurs in 3 games since joining the Pelicans, 35% usage rate, scoring nearly 30 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Yep. And I talked about in the game video, I think a legit Spurs strategy is to say, all right, we're going to let CJ operate on an island. We're going to let him get his points, but try to shut down these limited role players around him. And if that's the case, then you might be looking at close to 30 points again for CJ. Just need a couple dimes passing out of that scheme. In the playoffs, his numbers are a little more modest because he's been playing with Dame Lillard his whole career in the playoffs, but still 23.5 points, 3.5 assists with a 27% usage rate. So you add a bunch of usage to that, and you go up against the Spurs team that, if DeJounte's covering him, how much energy does he have on the other end? And the Spurs, they have been vulnerable in the paint. They just don't seem to have much of an answer for CJ, at least in these 3 matchups, other than to say, let's just keep everyone else in check.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the assists are going to come tonight, especially when Brandon Ingram is playing alongside CJ. You mentioned they're 9 and 6 when they're both playing. More important for our player props, CJ's at about 25.5 points and 6 assists in that time frame. So right at that, the points and assist prop. It's mostly because his points prop is so high tonight, 26.5. They're expecting him to score a lot of points tonight. And I think adding the assist is a good idea. I could see a 23, 24, and 8 night for him tonight, right? Like getting a solid amount of assists tonight as they try to get the ball out of his hands. As you mentioned, they don't have much 3-point shooting outside of him. And Ingram's been a lot better this year from 3. But outside of those 2 guys, Devontae Graham, not as healthy as you mentioned, not as much 3-point shooting this season for them. them, and a big reason that I think they'll want to get the ball out of CJ's hands and into those non-3-point shooters, but that will open him up for some assists. So I'll follow you on the points and assists with that one for sure. Lastly, we're going to take an under. We keep talking about how we don't feel good about points in that Charlotte-Atlanta game. And one reason that I mentioned we don't like points, and one reason that I also like the Hawks to win, is Scary Terry has a very bad record against the Hawks this season. Terry Rozier. I'm taking under for his PRA, for his points, rebounds, and assists combined, getting about -120 on DraftKings at 30.5 there. And his points is at 20.5 there. I would consider that under as well. He averaged in 3 games this year against the Hawks. He is averaging 11 points a game, 4 boards, 4 assists, shooting about 15% from 3, 31% from the field, just missing all over the place. And the Hawks are playing pretty well against shooting guards. They're really bad against point guards, which Terry Rozier is not, especially with LaMelo out there. But he's playing off ball and way more on the wing. But they're holding shooting guards to the 6th fewest points per game this season are the Hawks. So that's one area that they are able to sort of defend better than in other areas for sure. Definitely with Trey being at the top of their opposing point guards, that's where they're going to give up a ton of points and stats in general. Look, when Terry scores under 15 points this season, that's happened, I believe, 21 times. They are 6-15 in those games. Are the Hornets another reason that we kind of think under some points? The key guys for the Hornets are not going to be putting up those numbers, and that's a reason that you would consider the Hawks winning, even if you don't love a 5.5-5-point spread. You definitely like them to pull out the victory.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's a bold call. If you want to be more bold, take a Trey Young under. These props are so high, and I like even more. You can get some alternate lines at FanDuel. You can get plus odds all the way up to under 45.5 points, rebounds, assists. The man almost never gets any rebounds, so 42.5 is his points, assists. That's even money. Tack on the rebounds there. You can go as high as you feel comfortable. I mean, still -158 to go under 48.5 PRA. Because the Hawks have been good at home. They could run away with this game, and then you're sitting pretty for an under on Trey in any variety. And the Hornets have done a pretty good job limiting him scoring-wise. LaMelo Ball is a rangy and pretty good defender who can do a good job on him. And the Hawks just have more weapons around him right now. The only reason Josh is too shook to take it is because he lit up the Garden last year en route to that mythical playoff performance, and Josh is too afraid that he's going to repeat that.
Yeah, I mean, he still also had 30 the rest of the way, in points per game. I mean, it's not like the number 1 seed Philadelphia 76ers could stop him either, by the way. I mean, you're getting me defensive here. They were the number 1 seed and still couldn't stop him. But no, you're right. I mean, I am definitely, but that 42.5 points and assists, it's too much. It's too crazy. We can't go that high. That's too much. So I would follow you on an under on that one for sure. But that is all the time we have for you in the player props vid for you guys today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the other couple game videos we have up for you. We're going to continue to bring you each and every playoff game with a game vid, as well as these props videos throughout the weekdays. So like I said, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you continue to roll with us during these NBA playoffs. And until we see you next, happy betting.